Caleb Ewan himself has rolled up to the front, just assessing the situation as he looks around him. Frederic Frisson is the rider on the front who is doing what he does best, really. Just setting a really nice, steady tempo. Cofidis have got good numbers in here, Maggie, as well, by the looks of it.
Yeah, they do. I mean, there's a a big enough group there for most teams to have numbers left in the game, but it's what you can do with them and how you the ability to sit near the front but never on the front and spending energy in this time, especially with 11 kilometers left to go. Until the very, very final, you tend to want to sit there in the sort of top 20 and not really have wind on your nose at any point with the team around you. And then you start moving, especially as you're coming up towards a cobbled sector or a climb, or we end up heading in towards the finish. That's when you want to start spending the energy and investing that into positions and ultimately trying to win the bike race.
Very close to the entry to the cobbles now. I think it's as they come out of these houses, exiting Hits itself and onto the Hitsberg. Magnus, you're working now as a sports director with Canyon SRAM. I'm just thinking about the sports director's perspective, as we now see Arkea Samsic come to the front for the first time in the back end of this race. Anyway, if you were Caleb Ewan's sports director at Lotto Destiny, what would you be saying to them? Because they've switched off a little bit now. Do you think that's something they've been told to do, or have they just lost position? Have they done too much too soon, maybe?
Well, they've been riding on the front quite a bit, which I don't think they needed to do at that point. But yeah, it's always difficult until you know all the information, and ultimately when you sat in the team car, the information that you have is what the riders are telling you. You can't really see too much on TV because the TV is ultimately too far behind what's actually happening on the road at that particular time. So yeah, you tend to trust the riders an awful lot, and they have to tell you, and that's why you need smart bike riders who are capable of making calls themselves and communicating with you.
Hey, I'm enjoying this. We've got a late attack right onto the Hitsberg. As they went onto it, this is one of the riders from the Metec Solowatt powered by Mantel Dutch team. What a great move by him. What an audacious hit out. He's aimed right at the motorbike, and I have to say he was nearly on the back of the motorbike when he won. He's going to feel this because he's ripped over the Hitsberg. What a fantastic attack. Now let's see. I wonder if anyone can get across to him, and this could be useful, because otherwise he's going to be in a world of pain right now. That was absolutely megawatts up there, Maggie, wasn't it?
It was. But a good time move though. The way he came from a little bit further down the back of the group and just hit it perfectly as they came onto the climb. So yeah, nice to see. But I do think that there are enough riders left in this peloton here who really wants this to become a bunch sprint, and probably a few who kind of felt like, well, I was hoping to do that kind of a move, so I'm going to have a go now as well.
They're an ambitious team, that Metec Solowatt team. Whenever I've commentated on races they're in, they're always active, and they're always happy and looking for opportunities of a little bit of an easing where they can attack. That did not surprise me at all. I'll try and pick out which one of their riders it is and give him a bit of a name check, because that's nice to see that, livening things up at the end and maybe offering himself there as a bit of a launching pad or a stepping stone for someone else. In this occasion, it's one of the Jumbo-Visma development team riders trying to go across to him.
Yeah, trying to create that little bit of a group, but I think it's going to be very, very hard for them to open up any kind of gap. It has to be a complete hesitation behind from all the different teams, with sprinters kind of looking at each other. No, you got to ride this and bring this back. And everyone has that sort of conversation with each other, and all of a sudden no one takes it, and that's when you get the gap. But with 8.2 kilometers to go, yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, we're into the outskirts of Beveren now, which is really a suburb of the city of Roeselare. And they're heading now due southward, right the way along the edge of Beveren, and it's getting busier and busier on these urban roads, right into the centre of the city in West Flanders, the city and municipality of Roeselare. for the final time. They've been through here 3 times already, of course. Arkea Samsic showing themselves much more readily now at the front. They split either side of a tiny metal post right on the edge of the cycle path there. Thankfully, everyone through smoothly. And these two still dangling out there. It's Jaap Roelen is the Dutchman for Metec Solawatt, who has put in the megawatts there up the Gitzberg. I'd love to see his data for that one, because I reckon that was max watts up there. Good riding. He's going to feel that. But he'll do well to hang on if he can, because we are about to see the big build, I think, over these next 7.4 kilometres.
Yeah, coming around the roundabouts up onto the next sort of the ring road around Roeselare, if you will, and then we're turning off that one as well. And from that moment on, it gets a little bit more technical. So quite a few sort of twists and turns on the way on the running towards the finish here now.
Yeah, I suppose the advantage, Maggie, is that they have seen it. It's not like a run-in at the end of a stage race stage or something, which they've not taken in yet. This is a big loop.
You know what? Some riders prefer to have seen it, and other riders prefer not to know it. If you've seen it before, everyone knows what's coming, and ultimately it tends to be more difficult to position yourself in. You know, for me it was anyway. I prefer not for no one to know what's coming. Do your homework on the different map softwares, etc., to know what's what, and then just go in with that knowledge. If everyone has known it or knows it, then it tends to be so much more difficult to hold that position and fight for that position.
That is interesting. Right, there you go. That's a perspective I had not considered. And as always, it's the race into these squeezes in and out of the little slip roads, which take us into the narrower sections. And once again, the thinning down of the peloton comes under the pressure of Soudal Quick-Step.
So all these corners, that's always strings the peloton out. And if there's enough of them, then you know, it tends to be very, very hard to hold your position. But looking down the group here now, and keep an eye on Caleb Ewan, because he just looks like he's out on a Sunday ride on the wheel of his teammates. He never ever looks stressed, even in the most chaotic situations. And you know, with all the corners and everything that's going on, he always looks calm, and that's the key thing with coming in towards finishes like that. Is the more calm you can stay, the more you trust your teammates, and you've got to believe it blindly that they will take you to the final, you know, couple of 100 meters and drop you off.
I agree, Maggie. Every time we've seen him so far today, he's looked absolutely, but not a sign of stress. No. Very calm. And that is a stressful environment down there, isn't it? They're kind of split across 2 different death ridges there, 3 different sort of big slabs of concrete. Yeah. As they get close to that final 5 kilometres. Arkea Samsic are just holding back a little bit, aren't they? As we see, a little bit of squeezing around Itamar Einhorn there, the Israeli national champion who's moved up for Israel Premier Tech, the team we've not really mentioned so far. Today they actually bring 3 Israeli riders in their team, which is good to see. Itamar Einhorn is no doubt the fastest of them, the national champion, and he has just moved up in that jersey.
There was an interesting little fight there going into that corner. I'm not quite sure what that was all about, because it was clearly unnecessary at that point.
This is a former winner of this race in Guillaume van Keursbach, the winner in 2014. It's not actually classified as a win in this race, because back then it was a national elite race, although the quality of field was nearly as good as this anyway. And van Keursbach has quite a lot of wins like that to his name in his career. He's actually going slightly off the front here, Maggie. I reckon he should persist with this. Why not?
Why not? 4 kilometres to go. Yeah, you need that hesitation behind though.
Yeah. But there is a little bit of a hesitation there as well, but he's looking. This is obviously not his job for the day. He is supposed to be, maybe, I don't know whether Alexander Sorby is back in. I'm looking at the riders who are back there. I don't know if Sorby made it back in. He may have done, but they also have Karl-Patrick Lauk in there as well, the Estonian, who's got a good sprint on him. That's very definitely not what van Keursbach was supposed to be doing. But I don't know, Maggie. I thought he should have persisted with that. He had the gap.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it. It needs to be planned to a certain extent that you are going to do that, so that the rest of the team knows that okay, it's a possibility that one of our riders will go for an attack here, and we will be in a position to benefit from that. But if you don't know about it, then yeah, it's different.
So these are the final 3 kilometres of this, the 6th edition of the professional version of the Grote Prijs GP Monseré in West Flanders, racing into Roeselare, the city of Roeselare, and last year's second place finisher is now on the front in the shape of Dries de Bont, looking back to see where, well, who is he looking back for? Jakob Maresco maybe, Jensen Plowright maybe, the young Aussie?
Yeah, and a lot of the time you're looking around to try and see where different riders from different teams are, as well as where your riders from your team are, and figure out the best place to be. So, you know, that communication within the peloton right at this moment, 2.6 kilometers to go, that it's so important.
Caleb Ewan right at the back now of that Lotto Destiny team. I think he's last rider, so he doesn't appear to have a sweeper on his wheel either.
No.
This is Michael Schwartzman, the German, who's the next pulling for them.
Mareczko is on the back there doing the sweeping on the wheel of Caleb Ewan.
Wow, these are dangerous moments as the road continues to widen and then narrow again. And now we see DSM coming up in seemingly perfect time here. Sam Welsford right in the middle of them.
Long way to go. Long way to go. Still 1.9 kilometers. The timing of this is so important, because if you start going too hard too early, then you run out of riders. So it needs to be a big turn from Lotto Destiny now.
Yeah, they have 3 riders in front of Caleb Ewan. I presume it's Jared Drisners who's going to be the last man to go. I don't know, actually. It might be Rudiger Selig, looking at the numbers in the order they're in. Trying to see who his final lead-out man is there. Cofidis have come up with not quite enough riders. Pierre Allegat is second wheel there as well for Cofidis, so he's going to need to jump on something else with the number 71 on his back. He's in the right place to go, under the final K. That's that right-hander. Now they just literally have a long sweeping kilometre to bring them to the line, right up alongside the river here as well. And Lotto Destiny still have control of this, Maggie. Do you think they can maintain this?
They're looking good at the moment anyway, that's for sure. And I think they're just fighting for position. But look at Alderson Koenig coming up here as well.
Yep.
Waiting, staying cool.
I think Plowright is their man, you know, because he's got the number 16 on his back. Who's he got behind him? No, that is Maresco. You're right. Maresco's not. You can't see his number, but that's Maresco on the back of Plowright. But they've just lost their lead there a little bit. And this is going into the final long sweeping corner. And Caleb Ewan is ready, but he's second wheel. He's going to have to go early this point. He's seen the line. Caleb Ewan goes. What kind of gap has he got? He's got Gerben Thiessen up alongside him. What can Thiessen do to challenge him? Right on the line. Caleb Ewan might have hung on, but the teammates of Gerben Thiessen are already celebrating. They might be listening to the words of our announcer on the finish line there. Gerben Thiessen came out from just behind Caleb Ewan, but did he have enough on the line? Nail biter. Maggie, what do you think before we see the replay?
I do think that Caleb held on to that one, but it was close. It was definitely close. Difficult to see from that picture from the front there as well. Interesting though, interesting finish. Yeah, I think Arkea Samsic really messed up the lead-up train for Lotto Destiny in that last little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that again. In actual fact, that long sweeping bend was a little bit tighter than I realised as well. There's some celebrations being given and a few pats on the back for Caleb Ewan there. Hoping he's got the second win of the year after he started the year so well in the city streets of Adelaide in that Schwalbe Classic Criterium back at the beginning of January. His team think he's got it. We suspect he may have it, but I tell you what, Gerben Thiessen was coming at him strong there. And they're a similar kind of rider, those two, aren't they? Very, very punchy, aerodynamic sprinters.
Yeah, they are, and but I think Gerben Thiessen came, he did a really good job in staying with Caleb and not stepping off the wheel too early, but leaving it really late to come around him. And especially as Caleb had to open up his sprint fairly early, as we see here. So Arkea Samsic comes up, and there's a bit of an argy-bargy there going on between the Arkea riders and Lotto Destiny. And at this moment, I thought maybe they're running out of position. Maybe it's not quite perfect, but Caleb just stays cool, stays calm.
It was Rudy Selig who was the last lead-out man as well for Caleb Ewan. I wasn't expecting that. And Kevin Thiessen just leaning on Hugo Hofstetter there as well. Hofstetter and Thiessen alongside each other, Maggie. That was very tight at that point.
Yeah, it was quite tight. Really quite tight. But Thiessen coming through on and does such a well-timed sprint. I don't know. Wow. I'm not going to call that one.
Oh, I don't know. I think the Lotto Destiny boys might be celebrating too soon. I mean, unless it's just after the dip. Let's try and see the line under their wheels, Maggie. Here we go. Thiessen was still... yeah, no, he might have it. He might have it, Ewan, there. Actually, Thiessen's looking across at him as well, isn't he, at that point? Trying to...
I don't know.
Just listening to the announcer there at the finish to see what they're saying. He seems pretty confident, doesn't he? I think Thiessen had the better dip. So beyond, as they were over the line, he appeared to be ahead. But I wonder if actually as they touched it, Caleb Ewan had taken the win. But boy, was that close. Shows the importance of that dip as well, doesn't it, Maggie?
Yeah, throw to the line is always important.
Yeah. And nice shots there, Maggie, of the outdoor velodrome at Rusalara as well. Looks like it still gets reasonable use, which is good to see. Look at that.
Yep. 2
Australians, second and third, Caleb Ewan and Sam Welsford, behind the new Belgian sprinting powerhouse of Gerben Thiessen, who gets the 4th career victory, ahead of Hugo Hofstetter, who should now take over the lead of the Lotto Cycling Cup, because he was second to Milan Menton at Le Samin. So he should be leading in their national series, which goes all the way through to August, where it finishes, as it traditionally does, with the Flanders Championships in Koolskamp as well. This being the second round of 10 races that go through the season.